Please be seated. Good morning, Cougars. Let's try one more time. Good morning, Cougars. Yay. Good morning. I'm Andrew Hsu, president of the College of Charleston. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome you to the College of Charleston's commencement for the class of 2020. This is truly a graduation ceremony like no other in the college's storied history. I want to personally thank you for taking the time to return to campus and joining us on this your very special day. To our graduates, both here in person and those scattered around the globe, congratulations. Regardless of your geography right now, you should be incredibly proud of yourselves. To your families, friends, and loved ones who are watching virtually or will watch this ceremony at a later time, this is their day too. Together, you have supported these graduates in countless ways. Graduates, will you please stand and thank everyone who helped you along the way? Give them a big round of applause. Thank you. Please be seated. Graduates, please remain standing. Sorry, that's... And you, and will those few in the audience and those on stage, please stand as Ally Crawford, our current senior music major with a vocal performance concentration, sings our national anthem. In an abundance of caution, we ask that you keep your masks on and not sing along.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming on the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Allie. That was beautiful. Please be seated. Graduates, you're on an uncommon class for uncommon times. What you have faced these past years as students gives you a preview of what is to come in the future. Times are changing more quickly than ever, and you are showing yourselves capable of changing with them. At the College of Charleston, our liberal arts curriculum shapes all of our majors and academic disciplines, providing you a wide range of knowledge that will make you adaptable, flexible, and creative. But most important, your exposure to different ideas, philosophies, perspectives will make you a lifelong student, someone always willing to grow and evolve. That is what the world needs now more than ever. We need you to see possibilities where none may have existed before. We need you to be agents of change. The first part of our institution's motto, Sapientia ipsa libertas, captures perfectly the spirit of what you need to understand. That is, wisdom itself is liberty. Wisdom is not knowing just facts and figures. It's the ability to apply that knowledge in positive ways, ways that solve problems and move things forward. It's knowledge in action. Wisdom is something that takes time, and it's hard-earned and hard-won. And you are now well on your way on that lifelong path. With your degrees in hand, you show that you can do hard things. You can tackle assignments and accomplish great tasks. You didn't give up, even when it would be much easier to do so. Your resilience set you apart from other generations of students. I encourage you to draw on this experience for the rest of your life to remind yourself that you can push through anything. Yes, you can do hard things, and you can and will do it again and again and again. As I look at this uncommon class of College of Charleston graduates, I am excited for you and for your futures. You have a long and open road in front of you to make your life what you want it to be. I can't wait to see where your journeys take you and to celebrate all of your accomplishments as College of Charleston ambassadors and champions. Congratulations again, class of 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, for the conferring of the honorary degrees, I will now be joined by Secretary of our Board of Trustees, Renee Romberger. Kathleen Parker, would you also join us?
Good morning. It is my distinct honor to hereby present Kathleen Parker, a Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist and author whose rigorous work in the field of politics, culture, and media has illuminated an array of political and moral issues. In addition to receiving the 2010 Pulitzer Prize for Distinguished Commentary and the National Society of Newspaper Columnists 2019 Early Powell Lifetime Achievement Award, in 1993, Parker was the first woman to receive the H.L. Mencken Writing Award, presented by the Baltimore Sun. She is the author of Save the Males, Why Men Matter, and Why Women Should Care, and is a longtime commentator on TV news programs. Her contribution to the highest journalistic standard makes her a fitting candidate for the college's Doctor of Humane Letters. Kathleen Parker, your professional achievement in journalism is impressive and honorable. The College of Charleston is proud to confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. Congratulations.
By the authority of the state of South Carolina, granted to the Board of Trustees of the College of Charleston and committed to me, I declare Kathleen Parker is now admitted to the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereto appertaining. Congratulations, Dr. Parker. I'm honored to introduce Dr. Kathleen Parker. Throughout her illustrious career in the field of journalism, she has been an important voice for reason and rationality. She started her career here in Charleston with the predecessor of today's Post and Courier, the Charleston Evening Post. She has worked for many national magazines such as Time, Town & Country, Cosmopolitan, and Fortune Small Business. In 2010, she won a Pulitzer Prize for commentary for her political opinion piece in the Washington Post. And earlier this week, she has received from Governor Henry McMaster the Order of Palmetto, the highest civilian award given to a citizen of South Carolina. Of course, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Kathleen is also a former College of Charleston parent whose son, John Connor Cleveland, graduated right here as part of the class of 2007. That same year, she also received the College of Charleston's Department of Communications Distinguished Communicator Award. Her career and her writing are truly inspirational. Before I turn the lectern over to Dr. Parker, I would like to recognize her husband, Woody Cleveland. Please stand and be recognized. With that, the stage is yours, Dr. Parker.
Well, the best part of giving this commencement address so far is I got to take off my mask. But let me just say, first of all, hello to all of you beautiful, beautiful, young, wonderful people. I'm just so thrilled to be here, especially this particular commencement. You know, when somebody once said, "May you live in interesting times," I figure he must have been thinking about the class of 2020. The phrase, of course, is supposed to be a Chinese curse, which has nothing to do with President Xu. But in fact, it is an apocryphal phrase. It was probably created by a 19th century British statesman named Joseph Chamberlain. But somewhere along the road to popularity, someone decided it would be more interesting if it were attributed to the Chinese, which of course puts me in mind of, makes me think perhaps President Trump had something to do with it. Robert Kennedy mentioned that phrase in a speech in 1966 and connected it to danger and uncertainty, which makes it especially apt for today. I was so honored when President Xu invited me to address you today, but I was immediately flummoxed because I thought, what in the world do you say to the class of 2020 given these remarkable circumstances? Other commencement addresses from previous years didn't seem to fit into this very strange and fitful year, especially with such an uncertain future. So my first inclination was to say, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry for all you've missed and all that you face in the future, but at least you got to be here today in this beautiful, beautiful cistern and sit in these chairs and experience the most beautiful graduation ceremony I think I've ever seen. And it hasn't rained yet, which the year my son graduated was not the case. It poured, and the students then, of course, were seated up here, and they started tossing beach balls. They finally just surrendered to the weather. But for you, in addition to, without having to worry about whether you do have the pandemic, which has completely rocked our world, our political divisions are extreme and at times dangerous. Racial tensions are worrisome. The upcoming presidential election has added extra stress to relationships and civil discourse. Cap that all off with shutdowns and unemployment, economic uncertainty, not to mention the free-floating insanity in Washington, D.C., and you might be feeling just a tad bit discouraged. It's easy, I suppose, to feel despair, but don't. I say this as a journalist of some 40 years who has seen things come and go, as a mother who has witnessed these passages before with my own children, and also as a former college graduate during a time of social upheaval, political turmoil, war protests, and racial strife. Each generation has its own challenges, but what we know is that the worst of times, I should say, often bring out the best in us. When Charles Dickens wrote A Tale of Two Cities, he began with these words: "It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness. It was the epoch of belief, it was the epoch of incredulity. It was the season of light, it was the season of darkness. It was the spring of hope, it was the winter of despair." He might have been writing about us on this day. However, Dickens did not know my mother-in-law. She was a very wise woman, and whenever I was upset or troubled or angry, she'd always say the same thing to me. She'd say, "Kathleen, not to worry, it'll all work out." Well, needless to say, this is infuriating when you've prepped yourself for some drama, right? But I learned over time that she was right. You can't argue with it. You can't say, "Oh, no, it won't." Not to your mother-in-law, anyway, as you will learn possibly. But eventually I came to realize that things do work out. We just don't always get to choose when. We don't get to control when we get things right. Something I've learned through my many decades on the planet is that one of the greatest achievements is learning to be comfortable with ambiguity, with not knowing what's going to happen next. Blaise Pascal, the 17th century French mathematician and writer, put it another way. He said, "All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone." This has never been truer than now. We can hardly go a minute without checking our text messages. We're so obsessed with knowing our watches ping us with breaking news right this second. I suspect someone out there may be texting or checking an email. In other words, patience is not our strong suit. But patience is the one word of advice I would give to you today as you begin your next chapter in this life adventure. Patience, I think, may be the greatest virtue, no matter what your station or purpose in life. Not knowing, because all possibilities are then available, can be liberating. These, of course, are the lessons of age, in which youth rightfully have little interest. Here and now is what matters, of course, and I know you want to get on with the life you have imagined for yourself. Or maybe you're like I was a few decades ago when I finished college and I had no idea what to do next. This, as you know, is why God created graduate school. So I became a professional graduate school student for several more years, and after pursuing a few degrees, I finally decided one day I'd had quite enough. Plus, I was getting older than my professors. And I decided to abandon my nearly completed doctoral degree, completed finally today. My major professor did me a great favor on the day I flew into his office and said, "Dr. Darst, I don't want to do this anymore." He was reading, and he looked up from his book with his little half-moon glasses and peered over at me, took a drag off his cigarette, put it down, blew out a big cloud of smoke, because we all stupidly smoked then. And he said, "I don't blame you. Go out and do something creative." This shocked me, of course, but what a gift. So essentially, that's what I did. I packed my car and I started driving north. I was at Florida State University at the time. I had no particular destination in mind, but I knew that if I reached South Carolina, I could find a meal and a bed from one of my many, many relatives who've lived here for way too long, probably. I think my mother was the only person in our family who ever left the state, and then I circled back for her. But anyway, when I reached the intersection of I-26 and 95, I had to make a decision. I had to choose, do I go east or west? And because I'm such a scientific person and always like to take the data-driven analytical approach, I went eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a rabbit by the toe, if he hollers, let him go. And I wound up right here in Charleston, South Carolina, to my enduring gratitude. And for some reason, without any explanation whatsoever, I was able to land a job at the newspaper, for which I should mention I had no qualifications. I'd never taken a course in journalism, I'd never worked for the student newspaper, but I did speak Spanish, and I was reasonably literate, or so decided the publisher at the time, Peter Manigault. I guess I would say that all things considered, things have worked out pretty well. I fell in love with that first job and haven't left it. Which is to say, you know, sometimes you just have to be patient with yourself. And when the timing is right, take a leap of faith and risk taking a wrong turn. When Kennedy gave that speech in 1966, he said, "Like it or not, we live in interesting times. They are times of danger and uncertainty, and they are also more open to the creative energy of men than any other time in history." Little did he know. Like it or not, we too live in interesting times of danger and uncertainty, but they are also open to the creative energy, not just of men, as it turns out, but of every single one of you. I'll let you check your messages in just one moment, but first I hope you'll remember these words. Be patient, especially with yourself. Embrace uncertainty and make it your friend. Find comfort in knowing that everything will work out. And by all means, go out and do something creative, even risky, while you can. Congratulations, class of 22. Good luck, and may you live the rest of your days in less interesting times. Thank you.
Thank you for being with us, Dr. Parker, and thank you for your stirring and eloquent remarks. I am Provost Suzanne Austin, and this is my first graduation ceremony at the College of Charleston, and I'm really excited to be here. It's so inspiring to me to look out and see all of you sitting there, embarking on this next phase of your lives, and so glad that we could be here to do this today. It is now my pleasure to announce our William Aiken Fellows. We are pleased to recognize our graduating class of the Aiken Fellows Society. These students are the ones bearing medals hanging from gold and maroon ribbons. Aiken Fellows were all members of our Honors College and recruited to the College of Charleston based on superior academic performance, leadership potential, and a commitment to community engagement. As Aiken Fellows, they have participated in a range of activities aimed at their development as scholars and professionals in their fields of choice. All 27 Aiken Fellows are graduating with Latin honors. 16 are graduating summa cum laude. 4 are graduating with a 4.0 grade point average and are recipients of the John Lewis Gervais Jr. Award. 2 are College of Charleston Colonial Scholars, the most generous scholarship offered at the college. 1 is a recipient of this year's Bishop Robert Smith Award. 1 is a recipient of the Alexander Chambliss Connolly Award, and 1 is a recipient of the Ted Stern Cup. 1 received the Phi Kappa Phi Award of Merit. 17 had international experiences, and all were involved in substantive research in their fields. 1 student received a Fulbright English Teaching Assistant Program grant. 2 are Goldwater Scholars, and 1 is a Rhodes Scholarship finalist, an impressive group indeed. Beth Meyer-Bernstein, Interim Dean of the Honors College, joins me in celebrating the accomplishments of these graduates. Would the William Aiken Fellows present at this ceremony please stand? Congratulations. You may be seated. At this morning's ceremony, we have 4 students who have earned a perfect 4.0 grade point average. If you are present, stand as I call your name. Sarah Ballas Graham, a double major in accounting and finance. Nick Rowland, a major in finance. Ashley Clemens, a double major in international business and international studies. And Katrina M. Kuhlman, a major in marketing. Congratulations to all. You may be seated.
Good morning. I'm Alicia Cadill, the Executive Vice President for Student Affairs, and it's truly my honor to introduce our next speaker, graduating student Olivia Rothstein. Olivia is a Class of 2020 recipient of the Theodore S. Stern Cup Award. The Ted Stern Cup honors members of the senior class who, by character and influence, have best and most faithfully exemplified the high ideals and exemplary qualities of former President Dr. Theodore Stern in both the college and the community. Congratulations, Olivia.
Hello, fellow graduates. Despite these unusual circumstances, it is an honor to have the chance to say farewell and congratulations to all of you. Whether you're participating in person or virtually, I want to remind you to be proud of yourself and your accomplishments. These times are challenging for everyone, but as College of Charleston Class of 2020 graduates, we are uniquely prepared to face and overcome these challenges head-on. We have endured a lot these past 4 years, from hurricane evacuations to a global pandemic, and we have not only adapted, but we have thrived. So as you continue to contemplate your next steps and submit applications, I want to remind you of this, of your resilience, and how every employer, educator, and colleague is lucky to have you on their team. I also want to remind you that we are all struggling, and even when the future looks particularly bleak, we know a better future is coming. Please give yourself grace and be patient. Some of this takes time. We are all going through this together, and I feel honored to be able to graduate with a class that I know will have enormous impacts on this world. So congratulations again, stay healthy, wear a mask, and don't forget to vote on November 3rd.
Next, the Artium Baccalaureatus degree, the AB degree, will be awarded. At the College of Charleston, the AB degree with a major in classics require significant coursework in both Greek and Latin, while the other AB degree majors require significant coursework in ancient Greek or Latin. The College of Charleston has awarded this degree for more than 2 centuries. That grand tradition continues today. Will the following graduate please come to the cistern if they are present? John Davis Poston, a major in accounting. I don't believe John is here, but I ask those on stage to remain seated. However, it is a tradition that the audience stand when this degree is awarded. Would graduates and others in Cistern Yard please rise? And John, wherever you are, please stand and be recognized. And this is where we're going to award the degree in Latin. And don't worry if you don't understand anything that I'm saying, because I don't either. Curatoribus auctoritatem tribuentibus os evenus in huminatoriobus litteris proclare eruditus and gradum artium baccalaureatus admissos as Confucius sum. Congratulations. The graduates and others in Cistern Yard, please be seated.
Now, joining us in acknowledging the bachelor's degrees will be Trustee Romberger, Dr. Parker, and Dr. Caudillo, and Dean of the School of Business, Alan Shao. Professor Beatriz Maldonado-Bird from the Department of Economics and Professor Thomas M. Spade from the Department of Accounting will announce the names and majors of our graduates.
For the bachelor's degree in accounting, Christopher Alesso, Floyd Forrest Bagwell, Natalie M. Becker, cum laude, Shaquem N. Blake, Kellen X. Brown, Jr., Ashley Bryant, also meets requirements for finance. Braden John Carnelli. Cecilia Rodriguez Cruz. Parker Reed Fay, cum laude. Michaela Fodor, magna cum laude. Luke Foster, magna cum laude. Terrell Foster. Lillian Gregory Frampton. Mario Gavino Gonzalez. Caroline S. Goodhue, cum laude. Delilah Gorman. Sarah Bayless Graham, top honors, also meets requirements for finance. Bremnely Samuel Harbajan. Samuel Mackenzie Hartling, also meets requirements for political science. Rachel Kim. Catherine Taylor Lounsbury, cum laude. Madison Joe Mason. Latera B. McCollum. Kimberly LaShawn Brown McKinley. Claire Marie McLaurin, cum laude. John W. McManus. Madison Elizabeth Munsell, cum laude. Ryan Thomas Newsome. Sarah A. Nikic, cum laude. Stephanie Owens. Kelsey Ann Patrick. John Pelosi, also meets requirements for finance. Jada K. Pierre, cum laude. John Davis Poston. Lucas Evans Reynolds. Lauren Ashley Rue. Rashay Demi Roll, cum laude. Craig M. Rossi. David P. Roycroft, summa cum laude, also meets requirements for international business. Chandler Leah Salter, cum laude. Peter Sereth. William Scruggs IV. Aristoteles David Sikopoulos Williams. Tally Sedek. Jordan D. Sirota. Rachel M. Spitzmiller, cum laude. Garrick B. Stanley, also meets requirements for German. Antonio Subha. Tyler Nicholas Tenaglia. Rachel Lauren Tidwell, cum laude. Martha Tulin, cum laude. Haley Troxel, cum laude. Kayla Troxel, summa cum laude. Grayson K. Turner, cum laude. Paul Efren Vallejo. Christopher Winnick. Dylan Wright, magna cum laude, also meets requirements for finance. Brittany A. Young. For the bachelor's degree in business administration. Noah John Abbott. Eric Nutt Abramson. Garrett L. Adams. Justin Adams. Logan Wilcox Adams. Elizabeth Ann Amidon. Gabriela Angola. Nicholas Joseph Apuzzi. Anthony Arguelles. Adrian David Azera. Gustavo Barreto de Oliveira, magna cum laude. Elisa Beck. Charles D. Bellew. Afif Bizri, Jr. William C. Brennan. Nicholas J. Breslin. Sarah Brewer. Emily Marie Burke. Michael Burns, Jr. Dalen Joseph Byerly. Robert Edwin Kammer. Stephen Carlson. Michael Dennis Carpin. Lila Castle, cum laude. Lena Anastasia Ciccone. Caroline Chambers. Thomas Clay. Mason Cohen. Talia Colchico. Andrew James Collins, cum laude. James Morrison Collins, Stephen Thomas Cook, Nicholas Christopher Cortese, John Paul Schurter, Anna Corneta, Melissa Cote, Margaret A. Cohen, George Crossland, Caroline Somers Davis, Valentino Antonio de la Pelo III, Nicholas Dillon De Luca, magna cum laude, Nicholas James De Newer, Casey Andrew Dew, Bryce Dixon, Megan R. DeVell, Thomas Scott Driggers, Isabella Dubrow, cum laude, also meets requirements for psychology. Sami El Gradawi, Madison Eller, Nathaniel Zachary Everett, Cole Fabry, Grisette L. Felder, cum laude, David Firm III, Brock Charles Ferraro, Richard Paul Field, Christopher Philbright, Benjamin J. Fisher, Liam J. Ford, Lily Elizabeth Fort, Destiny Janet Gatson, Samuel Gaffney, Patrick Brian Gallagher, Akul Garga, Justin A. Germano, cum laude, Julia Glynos, Savannah C. Goodman, Grayson Clark Goodwin, Lucy Gordon, Cassidy M. Grant, Tucker Hall, Emily Louise Harris, Lauren Ashley Hatfield, Savannah Heim, cum laude, also meets requirements for historic preservation and community planning. Frank Garrison Heindel, Jr., Austin L. Heitman, Emily Heron, cum laude, Christopher Stephen Hill, Tristan Ryan Inman, Mary Corrine Forehand Jackson, Olivia Kathleen Johnson, Zachary Ryan Johnson, Brandon Jonathan Kay, Manor A. Keller. Ross Michael Kemp. Christopher Kinsell. Nicholas R. Kinsell, cum laude. Bailey E. Kohler. Karina Kostova, magna cum laude. Christiane Sarah Krimmel. Mirelle Lafreniere. Jonathan J. Liarchivisk. James Patrick Lewis. Caroline Martin Love. Kevin Lowry. Zachary Quinton Lundy. Hannah Maddox also meets requirements for hospitality and tourism management. Rodrigo Alejandro Magana Blanco. Frederick Martins IV. Caroline Martin. Andrew A. Mastrantoni. Jacob Jefferson McCarthy. Colin Michael McDevitt. Russell McElroy. Kyle McLaughlin. Kyle James Medeiros. Jason T. Mende. Brendan Liam Merkler. Gwilyn V. Migueles. Morgan Middleton. Mitchell J. Morosi. Anna Murphy. Owen Charles Myers. Yuki Nakayama. Victoria L. Nassim. Matthew C. Wen. James Parker III, magna cum laude. Jack Payne. Jeremy Pentek. Edward Pezzulo. Kylie S. Phelan. Nina Piacentine also meets requirements for hospitality and tourism management. Alec Polk. Jared Rashad Pollard also meets requirements for hospitality and tourism management. Lauren Ashley Powers. Nicholas Price. Sarah D. Price. Madeline Claire Proctor. Jacob Quartner. Gentiana Rossi. Tabitha Mackenzie Ray. Joshua J. Rita. Julia Riley. Isabel Renzi. Justin Y. Robinson. Samuel Wallace Rosa. Ana Teresa Rotloff, cum laude. Cameron Lee Rosal. Michael Steven Santoro. Michael J. Sass. Victoria Grace Savage. Teresa Scully. Andrew Scharf. Timothy Schmidt. Michael Anthony Sementelli, magna cum laude. Noah Chandler Shively. Bailey Shore. Charles Edgar Siggety. Owen D. Silvestri. Joshua L. Smalls Johnson. Tristan Eric Sullivan, cum laude. Elliot Gordon Sperling. Natalie Marie Speziale. Daniel Stepek. Sydney Delorme Stubbs. Wallace Sugg. Laura Catherine Taylor. Cassandra Nicole Tebben. Samuel R. Thomas. Stuart Clark Thompson, Jr. DeAndre Thrakill. Mark Toscano, Jr. Chelsea Tozur. Matthew Tuckler. Bardil Van Karkler. Madison Sophia Van Cardy, cum laude. Griffin Walker. Isaac David Waters. Wilden J. Webb, cum laude. Orr Weisman, cum laude. Michael Westbrook. James W. Whitmore II, cum laude. Matthew Quinn Wilkinson. Maxwell Williams. Caroline Frances Wilson. Hannah Lee Wilson. Lauren Elaine York. Claudia Sacanino. Thomas John Ziegler II. Luka Zurovac. For the bachelor's degree in commercial real estate finance. Mason M. Barkley. Matthew K. Batin, summa cum laude. Kristen Danino. Patrick Duran. Hunter V. Dunnigan. Thomas Cavell. Samuel James Gooding. Colin James Hamilton. Thomas B. Harrison. Avery Reed Jackson. Margaret Jones. Daphne Lerner, summa cum laude. Hannah High Sears. Elijah Silverstein. Wayne Simon. Sarah Catherine Wheeler. Eric Wilklow. For the bachelor's degree in economics. Rachel V. Bradley, magna cum laude, also meets requirements for international studies. Patrick J. Crotty, summa cum laude, also meets requirements for political science. William G. Gaines. Jeremy R. Greenberg. Cole A. Gullidge. Joseph Rendell Yonta. Emily Janaski, summa cum laude. Ryan Hayden McDonald. William Ronald McEwen, summa cum laude, also meets requirements for finance. Samuel Miller. Christopher Neary, cum laude. Alexandra Neisler. Elias Paitis. Zachary Rabinowitz, also meets requirements for philosophy. Drew Elliott Rothfuss. Sarah E. Stessel, summa cum laude, also meets requirements for political science. Sarah A. Williams.
For the bachelor's degree in finance, Dalton W. Anglin, summa cum laude. George Azadorian. Olivia Baldwin, magna cum laude. Abigail Kathleen Ballou. Michael Bast. Evans Eugene Beach. Samuel C. Beatty. Hunter Rees Bodwin, cum laude. Maggie Chapman. Molly Catherine Coyle. Jared Scott Crawford, cum laude. Christopher Michael Cuniff, Jr. William Curtis also meets requirements for commercial real estate finance. Kevin Devine. Patrick W. Dominic. Sabrina Mayer Doman. Max Drugy. Andrew Cannon Fail also meets requirements for French and Francophone studies. James J. Fitzsimmons IV. Alexandra Francescon. Tristan Fricks. Dawson R. Frundorf. Caleb John Garrity, magna cum laude. Christian Albert Gratzer. Cheyenne Asia Hall. Alexis D. Hamby, cum laude. Matthew C. Hanusik, cum laude, also meets requirements for marketing. Henry Hartman. Jacob Heller. Kyle J. Henderson. Emily C. Howe, cum laude. Jackson Hurston. Brian Jacobs. Dirk Aldrich Johnson, Jr. Connor Canapel. Mitchell Craig Cara, cum laude. Ryan K. Claff. Michael Lazaro. Stephen Luke. Emily Lewis, cum laude. Athena Lynn. Catalina Loisel. Annalise S. Lucan. Shannon Maley. Kevin McKenzie, magna cum laude. Madeline J. Middleton, summa cum laude, also meets requirements for urban studies. Michael J. Moran. Michael Mullaney. Charles McLean Peterson. John Quirk. Holly Ragsdale. Samuel Reynolds. Nick Rowland, top honors. Evan Sarrow, summa cum laude. Henry Rushler Seltman. Patrick Shannon. Mackenzie Kathleen Sheeran, also meets requirements for mathematics. Ryan K. Snyder, summa cum laude. Scott Stamps. Jack Tyler Stasek. Nicholas Sands Sutton, Sr., cum laude. Christopher S. Ergo. Andrew Tyler Urick. Stephen Wagoner, Jr., cum laude. Jake Walter. Jessica L. Wellbrock, cum laude. Brett Patrick Welsh. Laura C. Wintgen. Fitz W. Woodrow IV. Rebecca Worsley. Charles W. Zobel. For the bachelor's degree in hospitality and tourism management. Michael T. Allawelt. Peter Austin, Jr. Margot Ann Berry. Marquez L. Bellamy. Elena M. Bonifoy. Boyd Brim. Leona Burton Rojas. Brianna Marie Bice. Stuart Edward Cassidy. Presley Rose Conati, cum laude. Caitlin S. Daly, also meets requirements for business administration. David W. Delatorre. Mary Reagan Dyson. Kelsey Jane Feltkamp. William Finneyfrock III. Kaylee Kissam Flinton. Kelsey L. Griffin. Marcy Marie Gurney. Noah Lee Hammond. Kelly Hartman, magna cum laude, also meets requirements for business administration. Julianne Hennessy. Sydney Heslin. Savannah B. Hodson. Wendy Michelle Horn, also meets requirements for business administration. Madeline Humphrey. Hannah Rose Hunter. Brian J. Lee, magna cum laude. Stephen Charles Leone. Jocelyn D. McCrae. Elizabeth Griffin McEnry. Bridget McRoberts, also meets requirements for business administration. Maria Medanis. John McGinley Monahan. Kathleen Elizabeth Montgomery. Laura Mowery. Sean Noonan. Gerald Niahani Nunu, also meets requirements for business administration. Skylar Elizabeth Orozco. Stephen Charles Osisek II. Emily Shea Patterson. Hannah Perry, cum laude, also meets requirements for business administration. Julianne Kate Podoley. Jaden A. Pollard, also meets requirements for business administration. Mary Catherine Pope, cum laude, also meets requirements for business administration. Courtney Michelle Rabin. Angelica Rose Cervetas, cum laude, also meets requirements for business administration. Serena B. Shepard, also meets requirements for business administration. Rachel Singletary, cum laude. Emily Grace Slusser. Ava L. Smiley, cum laude. Shunta Tada. Heliana E. Toth. Abigail Rose Catherine Ucci. Megan Nicole Wagnon, magna cum laude. Alexis A. Washington. Blake Woolridge. For the bachelor's degree in international business. Jacob M. Alexander. Emma Avers. Lawend Bashir Barzenji. Nicholas Pasquale Bastolis. Dennis Nicholas Botsenhart. Trent M. Butler. Kimberly Cantwell. Faith C. Carney. Ashley Clements, top honors. Also meets requirements for international studies. Cassidy Caldon. Dylan Jacob Cooper. Angela Den. Daniel Wells Deschamps. Emma Caroline Dupree. Ricardo Farinas. Jenna M. Ferreri, summa cum laude. Renee A. Fraley, magna cum laude. Calvin Blaze Gerbach. Demetria Evelyn Henderson. Christopher Ryan Hoover. Samantha Hopp, summa cum laude. Derek Laydecker. Jillian Mastro Francesco. Paige Menig. Megan Elizabeth Merritt. John Ryan Morris. Dylan M. Neal. Taylor Nicole Nink, cum laude. Nathaniel Norton III. Savannah N. Nugent, magna cum laude. John Perrier. Michael Nielsen Reed, cum laude. Hannah Augusta Rose, cum laude. James G. Sessoms. Nicholas A. Simons. Troy D. Smith. Roth L. Stecker. Mitchell Stewart. Tegan E. Strickland, cum laude. Lauren Wildermuth. Maggie Wyatt. Coleman Bondurant Young, cum laude. For the bachelor's degree in marketing, Zane Christian Accord. Jacqueline N. Alexander. Donovan J. Bailey. Kevin Bailey. Lauren Elise Baldo, cum laude. Jemiah A. Bell, also meets requirements for hospitality and tourism management. Isabella Baruti. Nautica Latriza Bowen Chapman. Reagan N. Brown, cum laude. Margaret B. Carpenter, cum laude. Justin G. Carter, Jr. Emma Caroline Carton. Virginia H. Clayton. Santana A. Cook. Colin S. Crutchfield. Avery Dagg. Annika Damstra. Meg Damstrom, cum laude. Aaron Lelis Danfey. Sarah Jordan Dinning, magna cum laude. Also meets requirements for German. Keegan Patrick Downey, cum laude. Shannon Doyle, cum laude. Addison Dunn. Laura B. Edwards, magna cum laude. Also meets requirements for arts management. Alec Braden Eisenstein. Daniela Maria Lorraine Fisher. Jack McSheffrey Flynn. Michelle Ray Frasher. William Spencer Garrett. Daria J. Green. Keely Sarah Gregg. Kevin Halls. William A. Hay. Matthew Bruce Hess also meets requirements for accounting. Wesley Kager Hicks. Logan L. Hudson. Jessica LaRue Joplin. Aria Joseph. Margaret E. Knowles. Katrina M. Kuhlman, top honors. Joseph Clinton Lampke. Matthew Leo. Justin Delonta Leonard. Claire Ludington. James B. Lynch. Jack A. Maresca. Laura Masterson, cum laude. Blair McCartan. Kirsten R. McCown. Bailey A. Mitchell. Morgan Moran. James Morin. Olivia Catherine Hammond Nix. Tara Palea. Catherine L. Payton. Sophia Perez Signini. Allison N. Purifoy. Devin C. Powers. Matthew Rainey. Alexandra Rivera. Nicodeme Christian Roman. Allison Morgan Rourke. Mary Sarah Russert. Joseph Scafidi III. Allie L. Sharrock. Mariah Shield. Jared Silverman. Taryn Rose Lena Sims. Zachary Sulios Sr. Gabrielle Lee Stewart. Peter Alexander Stubbs. Nicholas Suber. Edlise Gail Leong Tan. Megan Lee Trotta, magna cum laude. Amanda M. Urosky. Curtis Wesley Van Manen. Lauren Rose Verhelst. Noelle E. Wallace, cum laude. Alexis D. Washington. Amanda Waters. Zachary David Werba. Leah W. Whetstone, cum laude. Madeline Mary White. Jordan W. Wiggins. Cameron Latham Wilder. Caroline B. Wyndham. For the bachelor's degree in supply chain management, Britton M. Abrams. Christopher Argo I. Alexa Bellinger. Maya C. Belden, magna cum laude. Austin Patrick Bolus. Margaret J. Cathcart. Ryan M. Colangelo, cum laude. Michael Gasons. Michael Hanley Jr. Shamir Khan Jadoon. James Lewis Larson Jr. Jacqueline Marie Mabry. Tyler Richard Markowicz, magna cum laude. Iverson Brownell McIntosh. Donald Dean Merkel. Lily Metcalf. Nathaniel J. Meyer. Jalen Seth Moore. Evan Pierce, cum laude. Samuel David Rabin. John C. Robinson. Trad Michael Robeson. James Salerno, cum laude. Kevin Brown Sirhal. Sean Standard Jr. Samuel J. Tobio, cum laude. Bryson Jacob Tonder. Noelle Bethany Winston.
Will the graduates with bachelor's degrees please rise? President Hsu. President Hsu, upon the successful completion of all degree requirements and with the recommendation of the faculty, I have the honor to present the bachelor's degree recipients of 2020.
By the authority of the state of South Carolina, granted to the Board of Trustees of the College of Charleston and committed to me, I hereby acknowledge your receipt of the degree of Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science as earned with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereto pertaining. Congratulations. Please be seated. Members of the class of 2020, on behalf of the entire College of Charleston community, congratulations to you on this very special day. I hope that you will look back on your time here as enjoyable, thought-provoking, and life-changing. You're leaving the College of Charleston a stronger place than you found it, and I thank you for your many, many contributions to our university. You now join our alumni family, which includes our commencement speaker you heard from today, who are dedicated to making a difference and making the world a better place. Graduates, I send you forth with best wishes as you begin the many adventures that lie ahead. Wherever you go in the world and whatever you seek to do in service to our society, may you always remember your roots here at the College of Charleston. May you take the skills and lessons that you learned here and use them as you become global-minded and globally fluent citizens. And may you always remember what it means to be a Cougar. So once again, congratulations, class of 2020.